Good morning, everybody. We're at Valk Ranch.
The Casa de Valk.
Casa de Valk.
Okay.
Mama Valk.
Good morning.
Zach the millennial farmer might still be asleep.
Oh, I see a light in the bathroom down low.
No, that was Randy. That's Randy. Randy was in the bathroom. Dang it.
Ah,
You ruined everything.
I'd have done something even funnier if I'd have thought you had the camera.
Well, he spoiled it. It wasn't even fun. I'm going back downstairs. We're making hay. We are now cruising around the Valk Ranch. Brand new trees, almond trees. When were these almond trees planted, Ryan?
Oh, I'd say just a couple weeks ago, Trevor.
Just a couple weeks ago. They've got some other areas that are from 2013 and 2015.
Yep.
We're looking at 120 acres right here?
Yes.
120 acres right here.
There's about 17,000 trees.
17,000 trees.
That's a lot of trees.
That's an investment, because how long, so you've paid for them to be planted, you've paid for the trees, when do you get to see a nut?
You'll start actually seeing them on their second year, but we won't shake or harvest until year 3. But you won't really get like a profit till year 5, 6 or so. Yeah, it's real fun.
I think I'll just do hay. I'll stick with hay. Man, what if you change your mind and you decide I don't like these trees anymore?
Well, then you're kind of screwed.
You just can't. So there's no rotating trees, is there? Like a crop rotation?
Mm-mm.
What were those fields before they were trees?
They were just irrigated cattle pasture.
Oh wow! So this is going to be quite
a difference.
This will be huge for you. Very different for you guys.
Yep.
So we're in the orchard. Is that what you call orchard for nuts and fruits? They're all orchards. They brought the sprayer out here. We're not spraying anything, so don't say we're not wearing our proper PPE. Is that right? PPE? PPE. We're not. We're just looking at it, okay? So don't get mad that we're being dangerous. This thing is cute. It's little. You're wondering why it's so little. It's because it's got to go between the trees. Here it is. 400-gallon tank, Skylar?
400 gallons, this one.
So this one's got a 400-gallon tank. Whoa, look at that. Look how small the cab is.
Yeah, we need one right now. Yeah. You got rear camera so you can see your sprayers in the rear. The only time we ever used the rear ones was when we were burning down the...
Just in case you hit a tree. This is called the Herbal Assault Sprayer. That's a sweet name. There's a joystick on the right that has all the controls, but it's also how you go forward and back. There he goes. Ryan, do you do a lot of spraying yourself, or is that more of a Skylar, or both?
Both. We'll switch off.
So Skylar, I haven't introduced Skylar. Skylar is Ryan's brother-in-law.
Yeah. So
Skylar is also Ryan's wife's brother.
So brother and sister married brother and sister.
Yeah, so he's his brother-in-law that way, but then he married Ryan's sister.
So brother-in-law another way.
So their children share practically the same genetics?
It's like the equivalent of like a half sibling genetics.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Makes in-law gathering so much
easy.
easier. Oh, where are we going? Who's in-laws? Let's just go to theirs. There he goes.
one thing that's pretty unique with almond orchards or orchard tractors in general is that we have to get these cabs custom made for us because it's such a small tractor. And so we got to get these cabs made. And so these cabs are not cheap.
Why do you need a smaller cab?
Well, because we're going through the orchards and you don't want to get whacked in the face if you're on an open cab tractor.
But what if you bought a tractor with a cab? You know what I'm saying? These are custom cabs for just for the orchards.
Oh, because John Deere doesn't make an orchard tractor cab.
Why? Why do you think they will?
I sure hope so. So we have these custom built. So these are not cheap. So just the cab alone is about $30,000.
Are they taking the original cab off this, or was it a cabless tractor?
They take the entire kind of rear half off of the tractor. So these are custom made fenders. So they take the fenders, they take everything off of the tractor, and then this is a whole unit that can come off. So when this cab comes off, this whole thing comes off in one big piece. And so it's all connected, and they add like AC and add all that kind of stuff to it. But
so this tractor didn't originally have a cab?
No. Nope.
Yeah, because it still see the roll bar.
Yep.
Will you take this cab, say you upgrade tractors or trade tractors, will you take this cab to the new one? Or will you trade the tractor in like this and have it?
Trade the tractor in like this and have a new one put on.
Okay.
Yeah. So we did that. In fact, we had a Kubota that had a orchard cab on it, and we decided to do a demo because we were going to be doubling in size. So we're like, hey, we need another tractor. We're like, hey, let's try out a John Deere, and we did, and it was one of those things where we realized, oh, we're going to be fighting over who gets to use the John Deere versus the Kubota. And so we traded in the Kubota and got 2 John Deeres instead. So we're pulling right here. This is our flail mower. So we'll go through the orchard, and this was kind of a mistake that we made. We're new orchard growers, and so you think, okay, our orchard rows are 22 feet apart, and so you want to have a wide mower that can hit that whole strip of weeds or grass, but not realizing later on that, oh, we go through and we spray the strips, and you can spray pretty wide, so you really only have an 8-foot strip down the middle. So we could have gotten a lot smaller mower, but it worked out great because with our chicken ranch, that's certified organic out there, and so we can't spray the weeds out there, so we have to mow them, and so actually having this wider mower worked out perfect for out there.
Oh.
So.
Before, after. Kill the chicken. I thought he got a chicken at first, but it's just paper.
So this is Farmington, California. So this is my family who's had this ranch for over 100 years. The original homestead is that little ranchette down there. That's since been sold off, so that's someone else now. And there's an original barn, but that's it. But we've had this ranch, and it's been back when they first bought it, late 1800s. So it was dry land farming back then. So they would have the teams of horses up here, and they would do wheat and things like that, even with all the fun rocks and everything that's up here. But then they ran cattle and sheep, and so they would drive the cattle and sheep from this ranch here to that ranch we were at in Oakdale. So they'd on horseback, and they had about 8,000 head of lambs out here, and they would take them into Oakdale.
The 30 miles?
Yeah. Yeah,
and you
horseback.
down
Main Street, Oakdale. So Main Street, Oakdale to that ranch that we were at.
Untrailered. They'd run them?
No, they'd be on horseback.
On horse, but the lambs are not trailered.
No, the lambs are on horseback.
No, the sheep. Yeah.
So you had to have one
not
horse for every lamb. It was a real pain in the neck.
You could put, I bet a horse could carry at least 6 lambs.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what they did up here.
It's a 6 lamb horse.
We would like to, we'd like to plant this into almonds, or we were thinking high density olives, something like that. But this is endangered tiger salamander territory.
Do you remember that from the podcast? Once he said it, I kind of remembered it.
Yeah.
How silly is that?
So it's endangered tiger salamander territory. Doesn't mean we can't plant at all. It just means there's areas that we can't plant. And it makes it a whole kind of nightmare trying to figure that out. You're having to pay a ton of money to have these studies done. and it's kind of just more of a headache than it's really worth.
How many salamanders I think are out here?
They have no idea. I've never seen one. My dad's never seen one. My grandpa never saw one out here.
Well, they're endangered.
And they also, so they have on their website, it shows that they have coordinates that shows where there was a tiger salamander spotted out here in 1997. Well, that means they would have had to have come onto our property, like it was into a couple hundred yards in to our property to see it, because they're tiny. And then we went to that. We took actually a biologist lady out here, and we found those exact coordinates. And she's like, "There's no way they saw a tiger salamander right here."
Liars.
She goes, "They stay in these little ravines." She goes, "They do not come out to this open area."
I would appeal that.
Yeah. So you say you'd have to not you can still plant it, but there's certain areas that
there's certain areas that you couldn't.
Is it decided on, like you can go into the NRCS office or whatever your equivalent is, and they can show you the areas you can't plant?
So there, we would have to hire. That's where it gets expensive. So we would have to hire a biologist to come out, and she would physically have to come out and mark the areas off and with flags. Okay, you can't. And it's the deep ripping. That's the part that they don't like, is the deep ripping.
Sure.
Part of it, because you're ripping. They burrow.
Yep.
And so they don't want the deep rip. So she'll flag off where the dozer can't go through and deep rip. And so I know that she's been out. We had her out here before just as a consultation, because when she does the actual study, that's where it's costly and takes time. She just did a consultation where she came out and just kind of looked at it, and it was. I remember her saying, "Okay, this area no, this area yeah, this area no," and we're kind of looking at it like, man, we would have this jumbled mess. And that's how a lot of these. There's a lot of orchards. There's a lot of orchards still out this way on these rolling hills. And that's how a lot of those orchards look from above. I'll show you. You can see just all these patches where there's nothing planted there.
Sure.
If you can tell, we're on top of a hill. It's very pretty up here. Ryan wants to build a house up here, which I agree. This is a great place to build a house. Okay, we are pulling up on a farm. We've seen the tree shaker. We've seen the sweeper. We've seen the sprayer. We are pulling up on a location where there's supposed to be mechanized. Oh, is that it up there? No, that's something farther away, where they're actually planting trees with a machine. There's a bunch of freshly planted trees. Like, these would have been within the day, right? Or within the week?
Yeah, probably within the week. These trailers are all full of trees, bundles of trees.
Bundles of trees. Look at all the pipe, the infrastructure that goes in so we can have almonds. So there's all those white dots out there. Those trees have been pruned. Here's trees that haven't been. These have been planted, but not pruned. This guy's cutting a terrace in the side of this mountain, well, hill. Do you need any deep ripping or anything orchard related? Call the Fowler brothers. They seem to do everything. So this was like a hill, now it's stepping down. Like a terrace. The tree will go.
So when we're harvesting, we want to like hold our stuff, try to stay
Right there, so then all the harvest equipment stays right on the flat part. This guy owns this dozer, he owns a paddle wheel scraper, he owns a blade, and he owns a water truck. Him and his son just stay busy doing this. Behind the scenes of Millennial Farmer. I said behind the scenes of Millennial Farmer. Getting the perfect shot. So this extremely good-looking guy right here is proof that if you don't want to work for someone, you don't have to. This is Gerrod Fowler from Fowler Brothers. We were on his dozer yesterday playing around. Gerrod, tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so started farming when I was 21. Worked for a guy out of high school as a farm manager, and then Started doing my own thing about 26 years old. Started real small, farming 6 acres, doing it on the weekends and at night. And yeah, just worked really hard and started knocking on doors, cold calling people, and yeah, just kind of made it happen.
What all do you do? What are your hands into right now?
Yeah, so we do like there's kind of three branches of it. We do the land prep, which you guys saw yesterday, the deep ripping, all the disking and the berms, tree planting. We do the farm management, where we manage other people's farms for them, like absentee landowners and you know, investors. And then we also do our own. We lease ground and then farm our own properties. So like where we're at right now.
And how old are you now?
30.
30.
Yeah.
Golly, started at 26. That was
Yeah.
fast.
That's awesome.
Here's a planter, tree planter. So they've backed up to this trailer, and they're loading the trees, getting them ready to plant them. Because once we go over that hill, they don't want to run out of trees. They've GPS lines through here. There's one. There's one.
It's in there perfectly straight.
There's one.
So they have lines the whole way. The new
You can see them all the way across those hills. When they cross those lines, that's where they drop the... You said they're 14 foot apart?
It's like 7 feet right
Oh,
there.
that's like 7 feet from that line to that line. And that's how often they drop a tree. You could probably stand up there with them. Come on there. Tree, tree, tree.
So when they're planting them, they kind of lean them towards the northwest direction because our winds come from the northwest and come southeast. But they can't just leave them like this, and so afterwards they'll have crews of guys come through. There's just one right now, but they'll have a crew come through, and they're gonna pack this back down all around this tree. They're packing it in, and what they'll want to do is eventually they'll have shovels. They're trying to get down to here. This is where that graft is. So this is your peach rootstock right there, and then here's the almond tree. You want that to be above ground. And so they're gonna come back through and they'll move this dirt, kind of pack it back down. And then eventually the rain and everything like that will settle all the rest of this back down.
So this is crazy. All right, I've seen a lot of weird things for me. We are like 15 feet below sea level on an island in the delta area of the Central Valley. What these guys are doing is setting up to plant rice here. So they're running these big twin cans or twin scrapers, building up the roads around smaller areas, and then they're gonna flood these areas because the water will need to be in here. He was just telling us like 8 to 10 months out of the year. But this dirt is so dark. The only other place I've seen dirt this dark is in Minnesota. And he was telling us that their organic matter is 22 parts, which I don't know what we are in Buckeye, but apparently that's very high. So I don't know that part. But if you know about soil, you'll know what that means. But yeah, this ground turns very powdery, talcum powdery-ish quickly. And then as soon as you put water on it, it just reflects the water away immediately. But they can grow almost anything out here. Any small grains, beans, corn, alfalfa, rice, all tomatoes, cucumbers, bell pepper. Not avocado. What was the other one? I forget. But this place is some of the prettiest farm ground soil I've ever seen, and it's beautiful out here. At the other end of the valley that we're in, there are pumps always running, just pumping water out of this area. He said water is 3 foot deep. Dig down 3 foot, boom, you hit water at that end. He said where we're standing right now, it's a little bit deeper. Well, I'm home. I'm pretty sad. Cried a little bit last night when I got off the elevator. Hugged and kissed Randy. Zach goodbye. Back to reality. Hope you guys enjoyed our trip. Man, it was a blast for me. I hope I was able to relay that how much fun we had and how much we learned and everything we got to see. What a cool trip. Thanks for watching. Give her a thumbs up, comment. I do my best to reply. Sometimes I don't get to. Be sure to follow. Tell your friends, tell your families to follow. See you later.